to another edition of Kickoff on the Couch. It's a massive week for Bafana with the qualifier coming up against Sudan. Victory will see us through to, well, not Morocco 2015, but wherever it might be.
Somewhere 2015.
With me on the couch, Zola Doda, Kickoff editor Richard Maguire. Guys, big week for Bafana, but not a great build-up. Obviously, there's the whole Senzo thing, and then there's May not showing up, and there's training sessions being cancelled.
Let's hear the big boss first. What's your take?
I don't understand why they're having so many cancelled training sessions.
It's
been raining in Durban. Shopping malls, have you noticed? Bafana,
it's a new thing.
They
now.
go to shopping malls before every
And they're
match.
not training inside
but
the
it
shopping
seems
mall.
to be working.
It is working.
You know, or let's say Shakes is like the Lord. He works in mysterious ways. But it's working, so we're not going to knock it.
Yeah, but look, sadly, we haven't scored a goal since he took over at home. We've done well playing away from home. We've beaten Sudan 3-0. We've beaten Congo 2-0 under difficult circumstances, but we've drawn 2 matches at home.
You know what I think?
And we haven't scored a goal, so I think this weekend we need to get it right, and I think we will.
It's not that the teams come here maybe and try and sit back and settle for a point.
It's
away
partly
from
that, but I do think to be a Bafana player in the last many years, 6-7 years, has meant to feel a bit guilty and under pressure because Bafana has always disappointed. So you playing for Bafana, you're almost like a player who's playing in a club that's facing relegation but with lots of fans, and you feel that weight, I think. And I think that is what you see. The performance isn't as good at home because of that. Away from home, you're freer.
Yeah.
Conditions might be tough, but that you don't have that, oh, I'm a failure, but I've got to get it right kind of feeling in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the players are more liberated now, knowing, look, we've got 8 points. We're doing it. We came so close to beating Nigeria.
I have no doubt we will score this weekend.
I think so.
We'll definitely win.
They are not particularly strong. We should beat them. Maybe May Mahlangu can get a hat-trick. Or am I out of touch? Yeah.
Okay, well, let's touch on May. I'm going to give you each 30 seconds because a lot's been said and written about it.
Okay.
Zola, you wrote an opinion piece on kickoff.com.
Yeah.
Check it out, very good. In a nutshell, what's your take on it?
I still support Safa's decision to ban May Mahlangu. In fact, based on what Sheikh said, which is that May Mahlangu is tired, for me that is ridiculously unacceptable thing to say to a national team coach if you've been called up. If he is injured or has a niggling injury, he must show up, have the doctors check him up and see if he's fit for the game or not.
Yeah.
If he wasn't really fit, he was going to ask the coach, can I please play like 45 minutes or so? Don't say I'm tired and you don't show up. That's unacceptable. But for having said that, if Safa's taken this decision, they also need to take the same decision if Serero does the same thing, if Nonga does the same thing, if Andile Jale or any other player for that matter does the same thing.
Yeah. Maggie?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be equitable. I worry that have Safa been a little hasty. We've only really heard Shakes' version. We're getting a sense that it was maybe a little more complicated than that. You know, if a player is coming off injury, he might say, I need a rest, I need to get it right. Then that gets repeated as tired. You know, we're focusing on that one word. Maybe that's not quite what the whole story was. So, you know, and Safa have a history of just hammering a player.
No.
I'm hoping that the new Safa is not doing what we've seen with the old Safa, how they would just make one player the scapegoat. But I'm suspending my final judgment till I've heard all sides of the story. We're getting filters of news coming out that it's maybe a little bit more complicated.
I think there's also the big issue that there's still that issue with who those boys from the down under tour that haven't been resolved.
See, that wasn't during a FIFA window.
Exactly.
But on the same time, you know, you just say I'm not coming. You could say to Safa, well, they should have been punished. And Dennis Mumble said he was going to punish them, and nothing happened. We've got a story in the new edition of Kickoff around that. I think it's a slightly different case, but it will also make people think, gee, there's different rules for different people.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. When you mete out strong justice, it's got to be equitable. You know, if someone goes down for the same thing as another one doesn't go down, then people are going to lose
faith.
faith.
I don't think this is a final decision, to be honest with you, because I mean, like I said, May Mahlangu hasn't really given Safa his side of the story. So I think both parties will finally come to their senses and maybe agree that this will not happen again.
I hope so. Again, I think it all could have been avoided. I mean, earlier through proper communication rather than it happened on the day when the teams arrived.
We have
But
such a long history of bad communication between Safa and players.
Guys, quick one.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the tragic passing of Senzo, we are without a captain.
Yeah.
A couple of names been thrown around. Zola, who would you go with?
Look, okay, let's get one thing clear first. When Fake Shakes took over, he didn't say Senzo is my captain.
Yeah.
He said I'm going to rotate the captain's armband.
And then he didn't rotate.
Exactly. No, but the thing is, regardless whether Senzo was in or not, I think he was always going to rotate the armband. And this game, we were always going to see a different captain. So based on the players that we have now, I've got only two players that I think can captain the national team.
Yeah.
It's Dean Fairman and Anel.
Yeah.
And personally, I would go for Dean Fairman. Someone who's more talkative, someone who's more influential with the players, and the position that he plays is also very crucial. Because Nongo is a very good player, but I think he tends to keep to himself. He does very good for himself, but exactly.
Although he does have the experience of
He does have the
captain,
experience.
captain
He does
in
have the
Belgium.
experience.
Maggie, who would you go with?
I love arguing with Zola, but I agree 100% with him. Dean is the obvious guy. The role he plays in central midfield, it galvanizes those around him. He's a busy player who knits things. He tackles, but he can pass. He's also in that perfect position to communicate. I've never been a big fan of goalies as captains because they are more isolated. I think he would be a good call. The interesting thing is when eventually Itukuna comes back, what is Shakes thinking there? And that is possibly why I said I'm rotating, just to keep that little door open. I've never been a big fan as Itu as captain because of my misgivings around goalies as captains. I prefer to see centre backs and central midfielders. Goalies and strikers tend to be a little bit more egocentric, a little bit more, well, not egocentric, but focused on their specific roles. Striker, bang that ball in. Goalie, that isolated position where you're facing it all. You're not the kind of guy who organically thinks about everything always. So I think Furman's a good choice. He's the kind of personality that would make a good captain.
Okay, quick thing. Predictions?
First of all, before I put in the predictions, I think the goalkeeper should be Darren Kitt. Predictions, I'd go for 2-0. Who should be the goalkeeper? Bonchana, Darren Keat?
No, Darren Keat. I mean, he has more experience. I think Shakes has played around with the goalie thing, and you get a bit alarmed when you've got all these goalies sitting on the bench with no experience. And then when a terrible thing happens, like happened, you start, where are goalies? Yeah. But I think it should be Keat. He's been there or thereabouts for 2 years.
Yeah.
We saw what he could do in this league before. I think 1-0, because I don't want to be overconfident, but I agree, we're going to score a goal. We're going to beat him, and we're going to go to Mauritius or wherever they're hosting the Nations Cup of Spain. I just want to say, come on, CAF, just deal with this. I think that pussyfooting around, I don't think they have anything sorted yet. There's rumours they'll have a decision by tomorrow. My money would be on Gabon, who recently hosted a good Nations Cup. The country is not in financial difficulties.
Nigeria should host it.
Okay, cool.
Just to get a chance to get in back doors.
That's true, a reversal of 96.
If you can't remember Darren Keat, you can check what he did in Belgium by getting the latest edition of Kick of Yearbook. Maggie, you do that one.
Everyone you've forgotten is here.
Everyone you've forgotten is in there.
And some people you've never heard of. We have the full squads from the Reserve League as well. And all the usual favourites. You really can't do without it. It is the Bible of football. And it takes us like months to put this stuff together. It's a nightmare to do. So at least go and get a copy.
So make
it feel worthwhile.
Make it feel worthwhile. Cool, thanks so much and good luck, Bafana.